Even with brick.
You're welcome.
Good? All right. So we're gonna get this meeting called to order. It is October 8th, 2024 at 6:30. This is a public hearing. Has everyone signed the sign-in sheet that's here, including everyone in the crowd?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any citizens input?
Yes.
I have a thing about the easement program
Okay.
On the track.
on the track. I told them when I was in here the other night that I had a plat that shows that we have easement to the road and it's basically a private, not a private county road. It's kind of listed as Series 5, I think. Track 5.
It's just not a track.
Private road.
So, and I'm a city attorney. I want to talk about that real quick. Track 5, I see how you say, oh, get track 5, but if you look right here, it is in fact an easement estate. They reference it as an easement estate.
Okay, but they had it closed in here is the reason I have a question. That's my problem.
I understand. And I don't think that is in fact going to change anything. This is referenced as an easement estate, but this is not changing anything. And in fact, this is tract 2, which is also part of the easement estate. So nobody is changing or messing with the easement at all. This is only changing boundary lines on this.
Within that property.
Right.
Well, I understood that, and I had no complaint about that.
Mhm.
It's just that when I saw this as listed as track 5, I thought, he's
I think-
claiming the road.
No, and I think probably the surveyor just did that for simplicity. It's just because I understand. For somebody you'd be worried about it, but this is still an easement estate and it is referencing the entirety of that.
I actually just got a text from the surveyor.
Yeah.
He asked if I wanted him here, so.
I don't think that, the man that owns here, I think he has cancer on his stomach.
Yes, Jared's dad.
Okay. Anyway, he said something about it was zoning commercial.
No, industrial.
Industrial. I don't know about that either.
I think that this has got this
is
right
not
here.
part of it. This is
I understand.
somebody else's property. This is,
Okay.
Up on the highway?
I don't know what they were talking about this piece of track 1.
So when he says it's zoned industrial, on our zoning map, it's industrial. After the meeting the other night, we came to the conclusion that, how we were just talking about how you can zone something in expectation of, but it doesn't become that until the property sells. These properties never sold. So it's all technically still residential. Once it sells though, it will become residential.
No, it'll come
Yeah.
industrial.
I mean, it'll become industrial.
Right.
Except for the front where it's commercial.
Yes.
Not all of them. We're talking about track 4 or track 6 because these ones appear to have actual homes on them.
Right. And it becomes all zoned.
I see.
Which was gonna be, like she said, would only happen if it was ever sold.
I see.
Current it's been sold.
They have requested that when we do our new zoning, that we put it back to residential.
That's easy.
Is it okay if I come forward and say this?
Because we have the
Well,
same concern.
I understand. So give me, actually, yeah, let me finish with,
Could we ask if they say their name?
Oh,
We don't
I'm
know.
James Goodwin.
James.
I own the property down here at the end.
Thank you.
Me and my wife, Patty. Yeah, this entire area was Killian Farm. And we bought the first track off of it. And then there was another Hispanic guy bought this.
Jose.
Jose bought this. And all of this other stuff is somebody else's. I don't know where it came involved.
So it was a major concern that the easements were gonna be,
Well, my concern was, it's a dirt road.
Mhm.
And if they're gonna, if this was commercial, Is they gonna be running 18-wheelers in here or something like that? We don't know what kind of commercial they're talking about.
Well, I think to Shannon's point, that was probably something that was put into the deed in early on, and when this would get replatted and or sold, that it would get switched over to commercial and or industrial.
Mhm.
But as she's already said, that they've already requested that they're gonna get that rezoned back into residential. That was just a formality that was probably, that stipulation was put into that property years ago before any of us was thinking about the property. Some of the
Well, I
projects.
bought it in 2001.
So, well, I would think, we'd have to go look at all the deed, paperwork on this property, but I would think that was probably before that, because I think they've had that property longer
Oh,
than that.
Jack had it, for 40 years.
So that may have been something that was done way back then on that property.
Jack Killian is her aunt's
Yeah.
husband.
That's correct though, right, Shannon? That they said that they're gonna have it put back into
They're
residential.
requesting that we do that on our new zoning map.
Okay.
So the issue with this is, technically, once this property sells, it becomes industrial, which means the new owners, if they purchased it prior to our new zoning
Right.
map, they would have to rezone it themselves.
Right.
If they purchase it after the new zoning map, it would automatically just stay residential.
Okay.
Did we answer your question, hopefully?
Well, I think so. It's still gonna be accessible for us to drive tractors.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
My name is Carolyn Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
And
You want to look at the easement?
Yeah, I wanna look at it because, I have a paper saying from the highway 276 is a private road from Hunt County. And Jack gave us easements to go up there. It was Chuck who decided to put Killian Drive on there, but nobody who has easements. The agreement was, when they sold the property, Jose, my husband, and Jim would all make decisions on the road and keep the road up. And so, well, now we see, and Jack also told us that he did not approve it being changed to Killian Lane and put into the city. So that was not a.
The city doesn't own the, the city does not believe it owns the road, the city doesn't own the road. We have to accept a dedication of the road, and we have not. It is our understanding that it is a private road, that is an easement
Okay,
state.
thank you, because that wasn't very clear the other night. Okay, I was trying to figure out, and as far as, the industrial side, the definition in my thought of industrial means the CEQ has to approve a bunch of stuff to come in and even call something industrial. I went and called the Texas Land Group about industrial property. The roads have to be wide enough. So are they gonna take the road in, from the highway? Or are they gonna come down the easement once that turns industrial, or is this piece that's industrial? Because there's one rules by state of Texas.
Well, so, I mean, here's the thing, the public hearing is only in regards to this plat, okay? What the other things that we're talking about kind of hearing is that most likely everybody's gonna request that it stay residential, so I don't think that that's gonna, the industrial issue is going to be a problem. But I will say just in general, if you're talking about something being industrial coming in, they're gonna have to meet those requirements too. So they're gonna be part of the process on making it fit within all state and city requirements.
Got it. Okay, and as regards to this track right here, at this time it is in the city, but if Jose buys it, correct, Jose? It will be in the city limits and it will be taxed toward the city limits. So I think he's thinking if he buys it, it's not county, it's no longer I looked online last night, this is all in the city now, these tracks, so. So it'll be taxed as city property, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, it is in the city limits, it's city.
do you understand that, Jose?
Yeah, this is Jose.
Jose, did you not bring it on? Yeah, this is the track you wanted to purchase, correct?
Yes.
And just want to make sure you understand that it's not in the county anymore. The county's at Jose.
Is this the same, Jose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same one right there.
Yeah,
He's
but-
right across from
I
me.
don't know the proper way.
He owns it. So I don't-
Yeah, and
that's
so, and you own this, then, so you own this tract two easement estate too, okay. I mean, at that point, you'll have, if you buy tract one, you'd have the ability to close off that easement, because you're gonna own everything. But that would be from here back.
But what happened to the other 3 acres right here?
We have nothing to do with that, that is not what we're talking about
That's all,
replatting.
that's all in the
Well, I like
county.
to put it there and they, I don't know.
Okay, well, that's a different animal, okay? We can, that would be a different hearing, because we would have to replat that or resurvey out all of that if you wanna combine them, okay?
And his question.
But that's not gonna pull it out of the city.
Oh, okay.
And his question the other night was also, a lady's talking about purchasing this and turning it into a housing addition. Who's gonna pay for the road? Because right now Jose and all of us are responsible for the road, but he does the most work on it. James and I have easements to our property.
Oh, you do, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize,
Yeah,
I didn't see
see,
that.
this
My bad.
was, right here, and this is me,
Okay.
and this is Jose,
Mhm.
and then when my aunt sold it, she gave,
Okay, well then, never mind, you cannot close this easement off.
No, we can't close the easement
Yeah,
off, no.
Yeah, what happened to the lady by the,
Yeah, he
Except
wants to
for-
know.
That person would also be responsible for the easement road. I mean, this is outside the city, but I'm just telling you as an attorney, yes. I mean, that's not a city responsibility, because again, it's a private road, but I'm sure if she sought a planned permit, that would be a consideration that the city would look at,
Right. because
is proper ingress and egress.
It's only a 50-foot easement, and right now it's a utility easement with a 10-inch water main, which
Mhm.
broke last night.
Okay.
And that was another issue with this road that we keep having. And years ago, when the easement was allowed to go through, many years ago, probably before Jack, the deal was if the 10-inch main breaks and the city comes in and fixes it, it's their easement and everything, that to replace the road back as it was, and it never has been. And so that's another issue I realize, and I can understand because he's put a lot of money in this
Well,
road himself.
I understand. I mean, and here's the thing, is that's sort of separate and aside from what we're dealing with today.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to be as helpful as I can, but what we're doing today is a public hearing on the replat of this. And like I said, I understood, I was already told that there's some concern about this easement. It's an easement, it's a private road, it's not the city's road, okay? Let me just assure you, we know that that's what that is,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
but, I got a question for this property. The lady, she wanna buy and do a lot of houses here, but this is not his property, this road. For one house is all right, but not for a lot of houses.
And listen, I'm not sure, because I don't know if tract 4 has an easement to that road. It probably does, because it would be landlocked otherwise. And in fact, it kind of
Chuck's
indicates.
easement would come in on this piece here, but the question is, we all have to agree on, because that's gonna put a lot of traffic in there, that was all.
Yeah, I think that would be a conversation for another
That's
day.
another-
Yeah, and that's not a city conversation.
That would be
Yeah,
between her and when
Correct.
she purchased it, and then what's she gonna do to pay for it. Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens input? Nobody? Do we need anything from the gentleman that surveyed it? He just walked in the door. Is there any questions that you would have that would pertain to this that might help anything? No? Thanks for coming, though, Joe. Okay,
Straight from the airport.
Good evening.
so that's gonna take us to number 4. Public hearing, replat, public hearing for 1152 Killy Drive, West Washington, Texas, property ID 37410. The legal description is A 1120 Wilson Jackson Tract 1-1 acres 15, that's 15.8458. And 1001 Highway 276 West Tawakoni, Texas, property ID is 37437. Legal description is A 1120 Wilson Jackson Tract 20, and that's 19.48 acres, zone industrial, 2 district, and the 200 feet off the Highway 276 zone commercial. And the request is to split the 2 properties into 2 tracts into 2 5-acre tracts.
No, 5. Read that last part again.
Split the property into 2 tracts into 2 5-acre tracts.
No, split the 2 tracts into 5 tracts.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5 tracts, sorry. My bad. No.
Yeah.
Oh, being human. And that's all for this public hearing. Is there any other discussion by the council or anybody else here? No?
So
What'd you say?
this is the attorney representing the family that's doing the replat. We
Okay.
actually have power of attorney and permission for her to represent them.
Okay.
So if the council has, my name is Ronna Hodges, and I'm working with the Calkins family for this purpose. So if the council has any questions that I might potentially be able to field, unfortunately, Jared is not available here this evening, and we just lost our surveyor. So,
He's still out there, I can see him.
Oh, he's still here? Okay. It's pretty well cut and dried. They own the property, they just want to replat it into parcels that will enable them to sell.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot easier to sell in 5 pieces than it would be in one. I think there was a problem with one of the buildings.
Which is why if you look at the one tract where it goes straight, it no longer is straight. It's got kind of L cut out of it.
Yeah, because right.
Yeah.
That way that building is.
Building go into that property.
So that'd be a little bit creative with the way they're split. I think the biggest concern might have been they're easy. Is that fair?
Because I'm just, basically,
And the industrial zoning part, because nobody wants to live next door to industrial.
Are y'all requesting? Are y'all gonna be the ones who are requesting it be rezoned?
No, that'll be up to the individual purchasers.
Which,
At the end of the day, they will have to meet all restraints required for industrial properties.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not, they're not gonna be able
it's
to.
just,
That's what I thought.
No, they're not gonna be able to.
It'd be better if.
Yeah, I don't think size will let them.
I'm speaking out loud right now. I would venture to say that this was probably a mistake made somewhere down the road by putting that on this piece of property. Or somebody thought that something was gonna change completely differently. At one point, it was said that there would be a road that would go from Rabbit Cove to 276, and it was somewhere in that area that the thought was that road. So maybe that was where people's minds were thinking, but we can see we're not there.
Can the city do something separate from the new zoning plan to change the zoning? If the city wants it to be residential and the existing,
We can't do it like, just say we're gonna do it. What we can do is, and that's what has happened here, and that's always been that way, you can go in and do zoning changes upon sales of property. So we can go in and different properties throughout the city, it's kind of part of planning. And I believe that's probably, this is me speaking out loud again, I believe that's probably what happened here. There was a thought or a discussion by someone that, hey, we're gonna have to have a road from 276 over to Rabbit Cove to make, more of a emergency relief and all these things. Let's make this industrial property, if it ever sells, gonna be perfect, right? It'd be a tangible piece of property for somebody. So yes, the city can do that. And it's a discussion that we've had, that's a good pre-planning that the city needs to start making some conscious efforts to do. All right, well, if there's nothing else. I guess, is there anything else? Did you have anything else, ma'am?
I simply wanted to offer myself to answer any questions if I could.
And we appreciate you being here too. I guess that's it. We'll close the public hearing. It is 6:49. We'll be resuming back to regular session at 7 p.m. We good?
I think we're good.
Okay, good evening again. Still October 8th, 2024. It's now 7 p.m. We're going to begin our regular session. We're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with our invocation, followed with the pledge.
Dearly Father, we're grateful for this gathering here tonight and for the opportunity to serve our city. We pray that you will lead us to make decisions that will benefit our city and citizens. And may we continue to work together for the common good, and that we always put the needs of our citizens above our own. Father, we're truly grateful for our employees and for their dedication. And please watch over them and us as we go about our daily lives. May we feel your grace and peace throughout the days ahead. We ask all of these things in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, Lord, thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any announcements? We have West Tawakoni beautiful trash cleanup, final cleanup of the year, the 12th, right?
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
8 o'clock till the dumpsters are full.
8 a.m. till they're full, and we had good luck getting those picked up, do y'all know?
So far, I think we've had 3 out of the 5, but they are supposed to finish that. We also, just another announcement, did add a 8-yard dumpster out on the point for that cleanup as well.
Okay, that'll be
It's
the
already-
following week.
Yes, it's already there. There was something else I was gonna say about that. It escapes me.
Is the metal gone?
Not yet. It will be this week.
Okay.
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
On October 31st from 5 to 9 p.m., the fire department's gonna have a trick or treat at the fire station. And I know the city is also doing a trunk or treat in the
16.
city park from 6 to 8. So these kids ought to be able to get a lot of candy. There'll be some games and things at the fire department too for them, so.
Is the same date for both? I
Same
thought they
day.
were different dates.
Okay, for Sunday. So they're gonna have a good time.
Shouldn't have to go very far to get
That's
plenty,
right.
plenty of candy, right? And they won't have to be on city streets running around from house to house.
Thank you.
That's how it was explained to
No
me.
hazard there, so that'd be good. Yes, ma'am?
The Planning and Zoning Committee is looking for new members. We voted for that last Thursday, so it's gonna go on the city website and the city Facebook page. So if any of you guys know someone that would be a good candidate,
How many members are needed?
That is
it's kind of,
open discussion, 1 to 3.
yeah, 23.
It's a big spread there.
Well, 2 of our members are running for council.
And,
Understandable.
and after the first of the year, I'm moving out of state.
That's right. I forgot, I knew that.
Yeah, so before all of this, I mean, we need to start getting
Yes, ma'am.
people in line and maybe get some education done and that kind of stuff.
Good deal. Okay. Any other announcements? Council? Crowd? Kind of happy to see more than just 2 people out there. It's nice. I know we had reasons for some of y'all to be here, but hey, we appreciate it. Okay, nothing, so we'll move to citizens input. 3-minute limit on related to agenda items. Anybody have anything they want to discuss on the agenda items? I'm not gonna go just yet, because I see you looking at notes over there. No? I seen you flip your paper over, I was like, okay, well, maybe she wrote something down, she couldn't remember what it was. All right, so then we'll move to number 6, which is our consent agenda items. So those are A through M. And, I mean, you didn't do that right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you did. So number 6, I guess we're gonna need to.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda items A through M.
I'll second.
Motion made by Chris, seconded by Robin. You got votes?
Leon Nyers,
Jack O'Connell.
Chris Burkett.
Okay, that takes us to number 7, old business. Discussion and or take action to approve the purchase of 2 vehicles and equipment for the police department. The chief's not in here, so I guess we'll,
Do we need to grab him or?
yeah, probably so.
I got him.
I also have a few.
Either that or I guess we would, get backwards on it. You don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, you weren't here. Call Coach up. Can I see your PO? I sort of remember it, but I don't want to, I can't even read the actual word on paper. So I'd
Here's
rather remember something to say.
Government capital proposal.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got everything finalized on those. The council did approve the vehicles and equipment. But really and truly, the main reason why I wanted to bring this back to the table is so we could make sure y'all all were aware of the total final. And we could put the total final out for everybody else to know here. So these vehicles are being purchased. The total for both vehicles, this is gonna be, we're doing the 5, right? Did we say 5 or 4? We haven't really decided yet.
But haven't legally decided yet.
I thought we made that decision in
We talked for,
our, did we say 4? Well, we can
we
concrete
discussed.
that, we can concrete that tonight.
Yes.
So the total, and this is government capital, which is the INS, that's the financing that goes through. Both vehicles with all equipment, 354.10. So we can do 4, or we can do 5 years. 4 years is 6.25%. 5 years is 6.2%. Payment on 4 years is $39,619.38. That's per year, one payment per year, and $32,576.40 on the 5-year term. And the first payment would be February 15th, 2026.
You're making a
Okay.
face like you're not sure about
Oh, no.
that. Okay. I was trying to read your face.
And so the 2 vehicles, you had one of them was $50,846.09. The other one was $51,808.01. And the equipment for both of them is $29,700. And they got, gosh, what'd you get? You ended up getting 3 different quotes or 4 different quotes, I think, on the equipment.
Yeah.
And one thing that the chief and the sergeant did do, they talked through this back and forth. I was actually in some of the conversations with them. And rather than these vehicles, if they were fully outfitted, like some of our neighboring departments, these vehicles would be upwards of $80,000 per vehicle, right?
Tawakoni was 92.
Was it 92? Okay. So depending on what equipment you put on, lights, bells, whistles, whatever, these things drive up quickly. People are paying as much for the outfitting as a vehicle. The chief and the sergeant said there's no way they could see doing that. Lights would be enough lights to be safe and be seen. And I think the sergeant brought it up was, well, hey, DPS doesn't put cages in theirs, right? And I confirmed that in Corsicana last week. I was getting gas in Corsicana, seen a DPS officer there. He was in a brand new Tahoe. I stopped and talked to him. I said, hey, sir, how old's your Tahoe? He goes, I've had this one for 2 months. So can I ask you a question? Sure. Y'all put cages in any of y'all's vehicles? Nope. They ride in the front seat beside us most of the time. Sometimes we put them in the back seat. Just make sure you get the seatbelt lines. Cool, thanks. So that's money not needed. The other part of it is, I believe, and so does the chief and sergeant, that'll help us on resale of the vehicles, because that cage has to get bolted in and messes up some of your headliner and a lot of different things with the vehicle. They're not taking their consoles out of these vehicles. They're leaving the stock consoles in the vehicles. So basically, when it comes time to sell them, we'll either decommission the lights, take the lights off, whatever. It's going to be really easy, right? And it's going to look almost like Mom's Tahoe. It's just not going to have the back seat in it, right? So that's where we're at on these vehicles. Anybody got any questions on them? Do you want to see these? Anybody want to pass these around?
What are you doing? If you're not taking the console out, where are you putting the radio?
They got a mount, a little mount that's just gonna mount there. Because the light switches are all gonna be handheld, and they just stick to the side of the console, so they'll be all handheld.
Does the back seat have a console?
No.
The one behind where
No.
you sit?
Now, in the very back, they will have secured lock places for like shotguns and evidence if they need to. And it's going to be a lock, like a toolbox sort of looking thing that slides out.
I just won't have third row seating.
Right.
They're the commercial, they don't come with third row seating. I think we're going to get a list of the equipment.
The air conditioning?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
And anything that we're adding to it doesn't nullify any part of the warranty that they
No.
provide.
No, because these cars already come all wired from the factory for to put all the lights and stuff.
Okay.
You got all the spots to put the lights and everything for you.
And these vehicles have 100,000-mile powertrain.
I think it was 5 years, 100,000 miles.
Has it ever taken you 5 years to put 100,000 miles on
Hmm?
it? Has it ever taken you 5 years to put 100,000 miles on
I think I put not quite 100,000 miles in 3.5 years on one driving.
Wow.
But the heavily patrolled cars, they'll get 100,000 miles within a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's most of us.
Mine
More
usually-
tongue in cheek, because I'm
Mine
not.
usually takes me two.
Huh?
Usually takes me two years to get a house.
But you have to replace the starter 5 times.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna repeat this one more time, the total for these two vehicles. Is $132,354.10. That's what our purchase order is written for. And we'll go, when we go into contract with government capital.
Are y'all picking tonight a 4 or 5 year?
I don't know. That's-
So you need a motion on it?
I know.
Yeah. So I make a motion, we go into a 4-year contract with it.
Is that what y'all want to do? All needs a second.
I'll second that.
So a motion made to go into a 4-year contract, to take the 4-year term. By Chris, seconded by Jack. I got votes on that.
Leon, aye.
Jack O'Connell.
Chris Burkett.
Passes across the board. Thank you. So that'll take us to item B, discussion and or take action on revision of resolution to enter into financing agreement with government capital for the financing of 2 police vehicles and equipment. The reason why that's there again is there was no amount. So that amount, 132, what was it?
354.10.
14. I didn't get it back. That's gonna be on that resolution, so. I just need a motion to accept that resolution 399-09-24-2024 with $132,354.10.
I'll make a motion for resolution 399-09-24-2024 to enter into a financial agreement with government capital for financing of the two police vehicles and equipment
For the amount.
for $132,354.10.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Robin, seconded by Jack. Votes on
Leon Meyer,
Jack McConnell.
Brian Myers.
Chris Burkett.
that? Passed across the table. We'll go to item C, discussion and take action on update on public works proposed new fleet vehicles. Council have anything to ask or input on that? Or Michael, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just need a reminder for my text messages today to Mike. Walks through it one more time. How many vehicles and what's being replaced?
We have 2 new trucks, and then we have. So we have 4 additional. They're all 3 out of those 4 are 2009. Excuse me, 1 is a 2006. All over 300,000 miles. A lot of wear and tear. That's pretty much it. We just got 1 back out of the shop. Actually, 2 back out of the shop that we spent a substantial amount of money on.
So we have 6 and we're replacing how many?
We need to sell 2 and replace 2.
Okay. So I sent you some information today. I personally am not ready to talk about it until we talk through, like, I got your data and then I sent you some information back. So
I read through it,
Okay.
and definitely we should probably get together.
yeah, because like that said, we only need 5 vehicles.
That's not true. You're not
Okay.
taking into account that you still have 2 plant operators.
I'm just going off of the data you provided.
Right.
So yeah.
That was a
I know that
Like
I know
I
I asked
explained,
you,
it was a
yeah, I
very
know I asked you for a lot of
quick
stuff. Yeah.
attempt to kind of put something there so you could get an idea, but it's a lot more in depth.
Yeah, well, without a doubt, and I know that there's a lot of stuff that does not exist, and FundView is gonna help with a lot of that.
Right.
Just on what you provided, I spit it into a calculator, and that's
I read
what it came up, so,
Yeah, it's leaving out a lot of variables.
all right. Without knowing those variables, then that's my only concern.
Right.
The other concern that I still see is it wasn't budgeted. We just completed a budget and it's not in there. Where are we gonna move money from to do this? So I think we need to see that as well.
Are any of the vehicles not operating right now? I know they're struggling. There's some that have been in and out
They're
of the
struggling,
shop.
but they're operating.
They're operating.
We finally got the last one back out of the shop.
Okay.
It rolls.
What was the cost on that? Do you recall?
700 in labor, almost 3,000 in parts. Had to have a complete front end put on it.
Like, because it was in a wreck?
No, it's
Under the
it's
other side.
it's
Oh,
a 2009.
okay.
It's got some miles on it.
Leon, you got anything, sir?
No.
So, we actually, there was a motion that came up that approved purchase of some vehicles. I think with the discoveries and the conversations that are happening now, I think it would be fair to the council, probably fair to Public Works Department, to let's get these conversations, because there's gonna be some conversations in the background to happen to figure out all these things for everybody to be able to make a decision they feel good about. I think the motion probably needs to be something to, well, no, probably not table it. I think we need to probably put it behind us and we bring it back up, right? I'm gonna say that for another thing, I think, and if I didn't mention it, maybe I mentioned it to Michael and I, and Mary talked about it, is we kind of put the cart before the horse too, because we didn't do anything in our budget with this, right? So, which is okay. You can do budget amendments. That's not a big deal. As long as you do it right here publicly and everybody sees it, right? That's better than just going and buying something that's not in the budget. So before we would have bought this or these, we would have had to have done a budget amendment anyways. So that's why I'm saying the cart before the horse. Okay? So I think that maybe we close this for now and
You guys have,
we can bring it back up.
so my memory is on the minutes in front of me that you guys voted to approve the purchase under certain terms with the pending approval by yourself.
Right. But we could redact that.
Well, I mean, in some respects, you can continue to leave that pending because I'm assuming the two of you are not going to approve anything at this point. But I would recommend making a motion. If you're not going to go forward, it's not a matter of tabling it. You've already approved it. So you need to either make a motion to, revoke that consent or make a motion to, continue discussions. There has to be some affirmative action to basically stop the going forward with the purchase, if that's what y'all want to do.
Maybe I just didn't say it in the right words. But
I mean, do we think by next city council meeting, we can just figure out the questions we have, kind of go through that, so we can,
I mean, that's up to you
Because I don't-
guys.
you know,
I was
like-
just speaking out loud.
Well, my only question would be, are we gonna keep the questions to the trucks, or are we gonna keep it expanded to all these different categories that really, in some ways, don't apply to the trucks? In my opinion, respectfully.
Well, I think I was in, I mean, it's no secret to be, I was involved in some of those conversations, maybe all of them, I'm not sure. But in some fashions, they do go hand in hand, right? Because the truck's what makes the world go round, and the truck's what gets the jobs done. So I think all that was just learning.
Well, I think after the last meeting, it was supposed to be about trucks, and it turned into something way beyond what we were there to discuss. So I'm just trying to see are we bringing it back to just the trucks, or are we still?
I think that was learning, trying to figure out how we got to and how we have to do that. I don't think there's, and I believe there's even some, anyway, that was.
I have one comment. There's a need there and we need to meet it because this water department needs those trucks.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying rush into something, but I think if we keep dragging our feet on this, I don't want to see it go away. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I agree. I don't want to be a barrier for this, but, our last meeting brought up a lot of questions, and so now it's becoming a concern.
Then you can simply table the motion.
What are the action items? If you're talking about tabling it and bringing it back, what are the action items? And I think that's the conversation right now for the council. If you want to bring it back, what are the action items that can be done or can be presented that would either make it go forward or would kill it?
Mine would be how we're gonna put it in the budget.
Okay.
Zach, what are your?
I think just some of the concerns that were brought up about just the overall care for the vehicles, that we just have something in place, and that, we had talked about submitting, maintenance records and stuff, so it's more public. I think that's a really
Which I did.
way to,
You
yeah.
did send that.
But
to
I
me.
mean, on a regular basis, like
Gotcha.
every month you're submitting, and so there are eyes on it, so it's almost like, it becomes a bullet point, since that was a big concern for the citizens. And of course the budget of, so those are the two important things for me. And then, again, like I asked you a lot of those questions. I knew that we were limited on some of that information. I just wanted to see what we were limited on. And so I'm not gonna wait to vote on more vehicles for 4 to 6 months, but I would love to look at 4 to 6 months of data on just how it works and the costs in and out. I think it would be educational for the citizens.
And thank you for what you gave us.
Yeah.
That was that was great.
Yeah.
We looked at 3 years, did an average, which there was 1 year
Yeah.
that blew all those numbers out.
So do we have a motion to put in place for 7 See? I can see with these on. Do I have a motion?
So is the action item, to your point, Lee, Mike, you're working on where it's coming from the budget? And then, is that right? Is that it?
Well, I mean, we
Are
would,
you wanting, and then I guess a proposed plan for what providing maintenance records?
Yeah.
And providing, and I don't know, what care of the vehicles are we talking about?
Yeah, just general maintenance records, like the oil changes and, the mileage and if they've been back and all the stuff. He's tracking, just have it submitted to the city on a regular basis.
So like a chart for the guys driving it about what they've done with the vehicle, cleaning it out, I guess, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
That's
all
up to
part of the
you.
checklist,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
So we still need to turn that into a motion.
Yep, we need a motion.
So I make the motion, we table it until we get a budget amendment plan and a plan from Mike with his, reports, maintenance records.
reports, yeah. Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion made by Chris, seconded by Jack. You
Um,
got anything to add to it? No? You sure? You said something over, I don't know what you said. Okay, something.
So on the maintenance reports, how many months do you want? Because he said, this is all maintenance reports right here. This
What?
whole staff right here.
Oh,
is
yeah,
all-
no, it's just a moving forward thing.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's-
like beginning today, what is.
Yeah, I
going
think
on with the
he's
truck.
just gonna start submitting those monthly.
Yeah.
That's easy. So we got motion made by Chris, seconded by Jack. Leon already voted.
We can't take comments.
I was going to offer the mayor a helpful comment.
I know, but we can't take comments during this, we can have that later.
Can I speak to you privately for just a second?
So,
Let's give it time.
so Leon voted.
Jack O'Connell.
Here's what we get.
Here's across the top. Okay. So that takes us to item 8, new business, discussion and or take action to approve or deny the replat for public hearing for 1152 Keeling Drive, West Tawakoni, Texas, property ID 37410. Legal description is A1120 Wilson Jackson. Tract 1-1, acres 15.8458 and 1001 Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas. Property ID is 37437. Legal description is A1120 Wilson Jackson, tract 20, acres is 19.48. Zone industrial, 2 district, and the 200 feet off the Highway 276 zone commercial, and the request to split into 2 tracks, split the 2 tracks into 5 tracks. Sorry. Has anybody got anything to say about that? That was from the public hearing. Yes, ma'am?
The planning and zoning committee did approve,
Y'all approved that, yeah.
approved it. And I really appreciate all the work you did, the city attorney did on clearing up the easement questions that the citizens had.
Well, thank Shannon as well, because she contacted me in advance and said, hey, this may be an event because there's some confusion. So she prodded me to dig in, and so I would understand what was going on.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
So I believe we met the citizens' concerns. I believe we motion to approve the replat is in order.
Second on that.
Yeah, I'll second it.
So Chris made the motion, Jack seconded it. You're up, Leon.
Leon Myers.
Jack O'Connell.
Chris Burkett.
That takes us to 8B, discussion and or take action on title of Community Development Department Head. So that would be the department that is Shannon at the moment. So does everybody understand that question there? Sort of, it's a question basically, what do we want to call the department head of our community development department.
Is this the commission?
No, that'll be committee, separate.
Yeah, the commission would be, the five.
I think so.
Next will be five, including a couple alternates.
Chairperson?
The one thing that I have a question of, I guess it's maybe more for you, council. She is our code enforcement officer. So somehow we've got to hold that title in some fashion, way, whatever.
It would, I mean,
I mean, she is our code enforcement officer, right? So,
yeah, that doesn't have to change now. What's the request? What's the,
I'm trying to figure out what to
what we already named you?
label it. The position.
Yeah.
So like,
Position title.
so like you, with police, you have chief, with public works, you have director with, so we're trying to figure out what we're supposed to put on everything, basically.
Mike, are you public work, your director? I'll probably stick with that.
I was gonna say, when we pull it and look, that's primarily what we found. And put like / code enforcement officer, I mean, I sign all my stuff for code
I
enforcement
think we
officer
gotta
anyway.
we gotta keep that in her.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's just community development department director and code enforcement officer. It's not.
You need a motion on that? If you like that title?
Good.
You want, it's gonna be called.
Director man.
She's already being called.
You're the one's about to type.
Yeah, I'm good.
Motion, we title her as director.
Do we need to ask code enforcement to do that, do you think?
No, she's already that. Like, that's, it's just,
I'll second for the director.
Motion made by Chris, seconded by Leon.
Leon,
Jack O'Connell.
Chris Burkett.
Passes across the
Mayor, could I interrupt you for just a second?
table.
I have had some requests to clean the camera on the laptop. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Just don't spit on it.
I probably should.
Imagine being on the receiving end of that.
Hopefully that's better.
it looks
Glary.
worse, to be honest.
Okay, well,
He's been out in the field today. It's a little better.
We'll go with,
From this angle.
we'll go with. So that takes us to number 9. It's up to you guys. I don't know if y'all want to discuss this in here. Do we need to go back in the back?
I'd like to go into executive session. If that would be appropriate.
I'll make it easier on you. Okay.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss or take action on naming Mary Turner city secretary.
Okay. So it is 7:33 and we're gonna skip.
That's a motion.
I need to second. I'm sorry.
Second. Leon,
Guys, keep going. You're almost there.
Oh, Jack O'Connell.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Chris Burkett.
I was doing so good too.
You live? Okay. 7:56, we're back from executive session. And we can open up for discussion on
Number
9A.
Will you make a motion? Okay, I would like to make a motion to name Mary Chumley our city secretary and keep her at the city secretary's current.
I'll second. Go ahead.
So we got, Miss Robin made the motion, Mr. Leon seconded it. We got votes on that?
Leon, aye.
Jack O'Connell.
Probably Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Carried.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well deserved. Thank you, Mary.
You done a great job.
So that takes us number 10, any citizens input, non-agenda related items? Nope, I didn't have anybody sign it. I wasn't sure if there was a paper laying in there. So that's a no, that takes us to number 11.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Battle continues.
I think he beat you.
I think it
So
started.
I got a second.
It.
So Leon made the motion, we adjourn, I got a second by Robin.
Leon, aye.
But
Jack O'Connell.
Probably Myers.
Chris Burkett.
that is it, 7:58, we are done.